Stephen, hello, sir. Looks like we have liveness. People are in here. Or at least a couple people are in here. Good enough for me. Weirdly enough, when the live chat is over, is when I see like comments rolling in. Either way, it's like people are watching it like on some level of a delay. Adam Hall, hello, sir. Tim Larson, good to see you. Tonight's live chat is brought to you by Defiant Munitions. Uncle Guns, hello, sir. Javier, as you all know, the deal to sponsor a weekly live chat is, well, send something over here. Like a hat. But I've had the hat for a while. You know what Pete sent this time? A coupon code. Not for me, for you. So, Aiden, hello, sir. The coupon code for 2024 to get 10% off all of the solid copper awesomeness over at Defiant Munitions is Tremis24. I should type that out for you. REMIS24. Wow. There you go. Good deal, Stephen. I got some Defiant. Maybe it was a little over a week ago now. In fact, well, maybe it was between Christmas and New Year's, like during Yule there. I got some of the 55 grain Defiant Defensive Match, which is not solid copper, but it's 55 grain. It's got a little green polymer tip in it. And black chrome or black nickel plated cases that look pretty fucking sharp. Pete knows I'm a big fan of 55 grain. Not that there's anything wrong with his 62 grain or his 69 or the 77 grain. I have shot all of those. But when you have, tens of thousands of rounds of practice ammo that's 55 grain, like I don't want to switch zeros like every time I go to the range and then have to go back to, the good stuff like that's. So I just stick with the 55. Crystal, hello, dear. I have seen something for you that looks pretty stellar in its nearly final form. Tim, what is the application for the new 55 grain? Well, it actually isn't new. It was the first 55 grain that Pete made at Defiant. He made the DDM before the TCX. He had the 62 grain TCX, and then he had brought out the 55 grain match ammo, which has also got a hollow point in it, but it's a cup and core lead copper combo, not solid copper. Because as he was making the solid copper 62, like he can only make so much like of one thing. So the 55s were pushed to later. And so he brought out the DDM because those weren't being, for lack of a better term, machined out of solid copper. So we could make those separately. And so they're actually not the new. And most of my go time ammo is a mix of the two, of the TCX and the DDM. It's a pretty, I got magazines of both and they zero the same. So I'm cool with it. Crystal, your attention. So I have seen almost finished Trempendix holster, custom shop for one Crystal Fox in a colorway that First Wave has not yet used before. Almost done. Probably tomorrow. Speaking of holsters, good segue, I know. All of the Mark V holsters that have been ordered at all, ever, have shipped. Like you either already have them or they're in the mail I dropped the last batch or the most current batch off today. Let's say last batch. The only last one was of the ones that went out today. One of them was for a full-size M&P, and it is the last Tremis signature holster for a full-size M&P ever to be made. They are done. Shinde, hello, sir. And all the Mark Vs are caught up. If you ordered a Trempendix, which is the other Tremis signature holster, there are now down to, I want to say 8 of those left to be finished and shipped. So probably be finished tomorrow, shipped on, I guess that would be Friday. And in there is the very last Glock 19 Tremis signature holster. Because we are done with Glock 19s, 17s, 26s, fat Glocks, all done. The only Tremis signature Glock holster will be for a 48, which will also fit a 43X and anything else that they may be making in that slim frame size. So all of those will be shortly shipping. And then all the Tremis signature. Turtle, I see you're in here. You have the very last Glock 19 Tremis signature holster. That is your order. So it will be laser engraved on the back with F1-1020 or 0124, showing that it is the final one and when it was made. Sam, hello, sir. All right. So that is the updates on those. As far as other things that have been ordered, there is I'm waiting on Blackbeards to come back in stock. So there's 1 or 2 of those. Like, I'm just waiting on them to ship them to me. And Z-bolts. So check this out. I put the order for Z-bolts in. A couple heads, LEP heads, and a couple full LEP flashlights. And we're out of stock. I will let you know when we expect the next batch to be done. I finally get an email after the holiday is over and 8 weeks out. But I think I got you. Hang tight. Okay, thanks. And then I get a shipment email. It'll be here Tuesday. I assume that it includes everything I ordered because I don't know what was in or out of stock. I don't know if heads were out in and bodies, the whole lights were out. But John came through, and even though generally speaking, he's saying they're 8 weeks out till restock, they're coming. So he must have dug some out of a corner or something and hooked me up. Colt Manny, hello, sir. So if you have a Z-bolt on order, just hang tight. It's a coming. Or Z-bolt LEP. I think that's all I got on the website. I have not gone through and added other stuff yet. I've been carrying around the LED handheld one. The one that takes a 18350, like the 1-cell battery. And man, that's pretty fucking nice. I'm not gonna lie. It isn't like LEP throw, but it does have a lot more spill with still a lot of throw. I'm pretty impressed by that LED head. They had sent me one for T&E, and I've been using it, carrying around more. It's a little too big for what I like as an EDC light for pocket carry, but as a utility light, in a pouch or on on a belt, it's pretty all right. I used it the other night out in the snow and was thoroughly impressed by it. The handheld, off the top of my head, I don't know. I will tell you that Mantis has a map. So manufacturer or minimum advertised price. So like whatever they're selling them for is usually what map is. I can sell it for whatever I want. I can take a loss on it. But I can't advertise that I'm selling it for less than map. So if you look on their website, that's likely the maximum I would sell it for. It's what it would be on the website. But, you know, if we know each other and we can talk and I don't have to advertise it on an advertised area, I can sell it for less. So you could go look and then assume that it would be that or less. And the one I got has, like I said, it's the one cell and it comes with the, turns out I've been calling it the Thrim ring finger pocket clip thing. And I heard somebody call it a theorem. And I guess the Y is before the R, and theorem sounds like Mike Tyson talking about like taking a liquid medicine. I got to take my theorem. But whatever. I don't know if they sell them without that. If they do, I imagine it'd be like $20 less or something, because those things are like $20. Maybe they don't. I'm not sure. And it comes in black or FDE. I hate the black everything. Yeah, Stephen, I'm not sure. Like now we got Therm, Thrim, Theorem. That normally when people mispronounce a word, I look at it as a sign of, some people are like, that guy's stupid. I look at more of that dude is educated. He reads a lot, because it's easy to read something and not pronounce it the way the person that invented it intended it to be sounded. And I'd rather know somebody that reads a bunch than know someone that conversates a bunch. This is me. So anyhow, speaking about the Z-Bolts, I did see a post on the interwebs that said the ACAL shipping to the public in Q3. It was Q2, so I don't know. I don't know if that was a typo or if it's changed, or again, I talked to John a little bit via email, and we're definitely linking up at SHOT Show, and I'll get more details. In case you're wondering, I am finishing up the last of my Allfather dry fig mead. It's about half full, I guess. Oh, and TJ, I don't know if you're in here or listening, but you suggested tongue oil from a cup, and man, did that work good. Thank you. I'm looking at my notes here. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see a whole bunch of pictures taken under night vision. Usually, like, there's a picture of something under night vision and a picture of Pete Bob wearing said item, showing what the item looks like, like in here in the studio, just with lighting, and then what it looked like under night vision. So it snowed Saturday night. Was it Saturday night? Friday night? I don't remember which. And I wasn't sure that the snow would last till the following evening, so I just hurried up. I packed up a bunch of shit and out I went. Weird. All right. So I got in the snow, grab all this white shit, and I take all the adapters, put my PVS 14 on my DSLR, which I'm filming on right now, and shoot on out into the snow. I had to go find a spot in the dark that did not have a lot of artificial ambient light. There was a lot of fucking ambient light just because everything was white, but I needed something without street lights and whatnot. So I went and found a spot, and some snow had been plowed earlier in the day. just stopped and set things like on the pile of snow and took some pictures. Now, while I was out there getting everything set up, that snow had started to turn to rain. So like I was fucking soaked. And it took it like 2 days from the inside of my truck to dry out because my seat got wet from me being soaked. And then like I got home, it didn't dry, it froze. And then when I sat on it the next day, it like thawed out and was wet again. And then when I got out of the truck, it froze and got in the truck the next day and it thawed out under my body heat and was wet again, et cetera, et cetera. So anyhow, it was raining and my camera was fucking soaked. I don't even know how waterproof a T6i is. So a couple of the pictures are a little out of focus because it was hard to look through the viewfinder and I'm like wiping water off. And I'm like, I think that's pretty much in focus. Because I was focusing the camera and the PVS for distance so that I could try to get good pictures. And like the very first picture before it started to rain was the West German snow parka. And that, like, it was so crisp. And then as the evening went on, I was losing the ability to focus because the rain was just obscuring the viewfinder so bad. But I'm going to probably go put all the pictures up on the Facebooks too, I guess. Maybe some of the other social medias, the little ones that float around. Here is what I found out. Artificial products, like man-made products, not artificial. That wasn't what I was looking for. Synthetic materials and natural materials in all the different patterns pretty much all work fine. Unlike when you have a green or green or brown background, some things that are like coyote brown and you're like, man, that'll blend in great to this dirt. And when you look at it with nods, it like glows white because of the material it's made of or the inks that it's dyed with. And you're like, wow, that's fucking weird. And then like I have multiple things I own that are tiger stripe, like big black stripes and then lighter greens. And when you look at it under nods, it's just one solid khaki color. Like there isn't any khaki in it. Like it just looks like like it's like a light tan, like a desert tan shade, and all the print is gone. And I have some Cordura, the Tadpole Tiger Stripe Cordura, no camouflage. Neptune pants that are Tiger Stripe, no camouflage. Tiger Stripe 100% cotton, pretty good camouflage. But rewind all this back to the snow. None of the materials nor patterns that I found did anything different other than blend in with the snow. Like some of them, things happened. So like if you can see on Bob's face, there's this stretchy balaclava. I also have a watch cap made out of it sitting around here somewhere. And it's Pencott Snowdrift, which has some gray and tan square dot things on it. And under nods, on the inks on that material, it just turns stark white. All the little brown and gray parts disappeared, leaving it just white. Also, just like the snow, white. It still blended in well. That shemagh that he's wearing around his neck, most all of that black disappeared and it just turned white. So I don't know what kind of ink that is either. So they all equally were as luminescent as the snow. Now, the good news is it doesn't really fucking matter what you buy because it all seems to work. The only oddball thing was the scrim on that helmet is 500D Cordura, and it's multicam Alpine printed. So it's kind of white on one side and multicam Alpine. So depending how it's laying, you may see the white or the multicam Alpine or the McAlpine, as I call it. And it was probably due to the green AOR showing through all the holes, but it made the Cordura seem like it was darker than the snow. So when I hit it with IR light, like artificial IR illumination, it brightened it up and it brightened up the snow and it went right back to working well anyway. So I had no issue with any of the white things that I went out and tested. Now, some guys saw the West German snow camo parka and were like, hey, we might be onto something there like that, where it looks like it works really well. The problem is, it's fucking huge. Like when I put it on, I got 15 inches of like wetting train dragging behind me. Admittedly, I'm short, but unless you're 7 foot tall, it's going to touch the ground. Here's the problem. It's just cotton, not the lightest weight cotton either. It ain't like bed sheet thin. It's a little thicker. So when it soaks up water, it's going to weigh like 4,000 pounds. So mine is going to get trimmed up to only go like maybe mid thigh, maybe a little longer in the back. So if I'm putting it on over a pack, it doesn't shorten it real far, just to keep it out of the fucking snow, because when it gets wet, it's going to be heavy, and it's certainly going to get wet because it's just cotton, absorbent cotton. On Bob here, you can see he's wearing multicam Alpine, like right there. It's a synthetic, like over white, or I have a pants and a jacket. I like that way better. A little harder to put on, like putting pants over your pants or over your snow pants. But it's not absorbent. So it's not going to soak up a bunch of snow, especially like if you are in any position other than upright, like you have to go prone or just take a knee, and now your body heat is against it and the snow is on the other side, it's going to melt some snow and make it get wet. So that's my take. All right. So let's see. That was the whole spiel on the snow camo. I know the spot right here looks really dark. It's because there's also a parka over top of, like, that's a Cryptek parka. So everything below that chest rig's just in a shadow from the lights. Sorry, it's really not that dark. You can see below at the very bottom right there that it's light, and it's light right there. That's the actual color when it's not in the shade. But yeah, I like those. Those aren't even real multicam Alpine. It's like a Chinese knockoff. I got it on like eBay for like $15 for the jacket and the pants and a little stuff sack. So anyhow, if you're now picking snow camo, I would suggest looking at your AO, picking the snow camo that would work best in what your snowfall and in your environment would look like during the daylight, and just rock that at night, and not do a concern for, is it good night camo and day camo. Just get the best day camo for your area and run it at night. Oh, weird. The next thing below talking about snow and nods was Wayne LaPierre. However, we're not done with the nod thing yet. I took all that shit out there, put it back in my truck. Everything was fucking soaked because it started raining on top of the snow. It was a good thing I went out and didn't wait till the next day because the snow was gone from all the rain. The eBay overwhites, Tim, were a multicam Alpine knockoff. There's a little more gray in it than I have in any of the other multicam Alpine. Like, it's a little busier. I can't tell you where I bought it from, or who, I probably could go back and search my eBay history, but I have a hunch that at some point Cry took that dude down for selling multicam knockoffs. Or maybe you could just Google multicam Alpine overwhites and eBay will show you the exact same thing I got. So anyhow, put all my shit away. The last thing I got a picture of was the helmet. So I set the helmet out, get some pictures, shine some IR light on it, get some more pictures, go back to the truck. And now I've taken the PVS off of my camera so I can put my camera in its padded camera bag. Instead of packing the PVS back up in its padded, actually eagle pouch that I have for it, I put it on the helmet, put the helmet on, and drove home with no lights in the truck. So I turned the dash lights down on the little, like the gauges, and then the screen with like, XM radio and that kind of shit. Turned it off, turned the brightness all the way down on my GPS, and kicked the headlights off and drove home in the dark. And as you can imagine, with everything being white, it was super easy to see everything. But I had the gauge cluster down like 95% of the way off. With the naked eye, I couldn't see. It looked like it was off, but with the nods, you could still see the gauges. And I used my Moondog, the Moondog SOAC Mini that I have screwed into the front, which is like it's an iris. And unlike the Tarsier or whatever the fuck that other thing is, it doesn't just press on the front and then you got to like tape it so it doesn't move. So it doesn't like slide and fall off. This screws into the threads. I adjusted that iris down to somewhere in the middle. I didn't look when I was done like an idiot. But it cuts down how much light it brings in, but it was able to give me a greater focus distance. So I could drive and look out while I was driving, like as far out as I would want to see. And if I looked down at the gauges, I could make out the numbers on the gauges. So I was getting focus of, 24 inches and 200 yards at the same time by using that ring. It was pretty slick. I can't wait to use that out more in the summer when it's not so fucking wet and cold outside in the dark. So next thing on my notes happens to go right in with Javier's question of what do I think about Wayne LaPierre's resignation at the NRA? Well, does everybody remember the NRA annual meeting of 2019? It was, like before they canceled it every fucking year in a row. Which they say they canceled like 2020 and 2021 or however many fucking years they canceled because of COVID restrictions. They didn't want people in those meetings, like members. Now, there are like nonprofit laws that say the membership has to be allowed in the annual meeting, and the annual meeting is required by law if you have a nonprofit. So 2019, Indianapolis, fucking last minute. Annual meeting's not going to be open to membership. It's going to be done behind closed doors. Let's take a vote. And the vote passed. And then everybody was kicked out. And they had the rest of the meeting behind closed doors. Then they sealed the minutes of the meeting so that nobody could read what was talked about in the official minutes. Not so sure that that's legal by the laws of nonprofits, like what you have to do to be a legitimate nonprofit organization. Which, that could get revoked for a number of reasons, apparently. Anywho, there's a lot of convention hall staff that still comes and goes in those conference rooms and whatnot during those kind of things. And rumors started circulating from apparently from those people who would like serve water and whatever else they cleaned up and took the trash out. The topics of discussion were that there were people inside the NRA who were getting essentially, I guess, blackmailed maybe for indiscretions with children. And the NRA was using funds from its membership to pay those people off to sign non-disclosure agreements, et cetera, et cetera. And now, I don't know, because the fucking the minutes are still sealed. Nobody knows what they talked about. And by the words of the people who were in the board of directors, which is fucking 150 people big or some garbage like that. I don't know how many people are in the board of directors. It's a huge number. They all had to sign non-disclosure agreements about the meeting in order to stay in the meeting. So none of them have ever come out and refuted that that's what went on at the meeting. Just the rumors that spread around Indianapolis in 2019. And I was like, could be. And then, oh my God, the court documents are going to start outing pedophiles that, of the rich and famous that live around Washington, D.C. And all of a sudden, while that list, bam, it hits public, Wayne LaPierre says, hey, I'm resigning. Weird. Coincidence? I don't believe in that there has ever been a coincidence, so it's tough for me to swallow that. Anyhow, I don't know if those things are related or not. But if any of that is true, nobody, like you just took one person out, everyone that knows about it needs to go as well. That's my take on it. A bunch of things floating around, information. It's up to you to decide how they're related to each other. So, I mentioned in the subheading, the tagline for tonight's live chat, pre-SHOT Show Shenanigans. SHOT Show is coming up soon. Like there'll be one more live chat before SHOT Show, and maybe we'll try and do one more over there, but I wouldn't count on having one over there. But SHOT Show is coming. And what I want to know from you all is, what have you seen being talked about that you would like a closer look at? Some pictures, some video, interviews with people. We are going as a media organization. So as long as we have permission from the exhibitors, we can take pictures while we are there and videos and that kind of thing. There's been, if you go over to SHOT Show, the website, whatever the website is, I don't know off the top of my head, but they have a thing called SHOT Show Planner, which has like a couple dozen pages of new products that people wanted, like exhibitors wanted to like display. I don't know if they pay for that little section of new products. And there's a list of exhibitors. So if you have seen that there is a new Wiggly Majigger from Magpul and you would like a picture of it or some info on it, let me know, and I will do my best to include it in our coverage of SHOT Show, even if it doesn't make like top 5 products or worst 5 products. So I'm gonna do that video again. It might still get a picture on Instagram with a little blurb about what we thought of it. And if you ask it, type it up somewhere like on Facebook or Twitter, any of those, like I would just answer it there while we're there or when we get back. I would suspect that with a week out, now is when we're going to start seeing products dropping. Like, and I mentioned Magpul, like they had been doing like every day up like the 10 days prior to SHOT last year. They released the new product pictures and description. I mean, some of those things didn't come out until like October of the year, but they showed what like their 2023 roster of new products was going to be. I would suspect any day we'll start seeing that from Magpul, which kind of surprised me that they dropped a new stock in like December. And the weird part was that it wasn't in their 2023 list of products, and they released it before 2024, just kind of randomly right towards the end of the year before they would normally release their 2024 products. And what really fucking bummed me out was the day they released it, I received a Magpul CTR stock in the mail that I had ordered for a rifle. And I was like, man, if I'd have known, I'd have just waited a couple of days and bought one of those to check it out. So if I don't see one before the next rifle I assemble, I'll probably get that and try it out. Ah, John, I see you're here. Good to see you, sir. So you let me know what you're looking for from SHOT, and I'll do my best to add it to our list of stuff. You can't just say, hey, that new flashlight. Like, what flashlight from who. Last year we went and checked out the HRT flashlight. I like HRT stuff. They use a lot of Tegris and laminate material. Pretty cool stuff. Actually, the gun belt I switched to. Try reloading the page. Is it the chat page? I guess maybe it's the chat page. All right. And I'll try. Anyhow, we got the flashlight and that question answered to the fellow that wanted to know about it. Anything new that Mantis has? So I had received some inside scoop on things Mantis is releasing. So I know some of the things, at least some of the things that are going to be on the list. Of the 4, 5 things that I may not have seen, maybe all of them won't make it because they've been delayed too long, or maybe there'll be other things they didn't show me when I was at Mantis. But I do know some stuff that's coming. So they are literally at the top of my list. Things I'm most interested in seeing are from Z-Bolt, because I want to check out the ACAL a lot. It's a shame it won't be dark enough to really throw on a set of nods and try it out. Andrew, hello, sir. And Mantis, because I have some inside scoop, so I'd like to be able to talk about the things that I saw already. That would be swell. Other things, I'm curious to see what next level training is coming up with. The guys make the CERT pistol. I haven't heard anything new from them for a while, so maybe it's about time, because there's a lot of potential there with the things that they make, and I'd like to see them continue forward with it. Another company that I saw something pretty slick from is called Blue Ops. I think it's called the X-Mag, but don't quote me on that. It is a dry fire magazine that resets your trigger. I think the trigger, like the magazine has a thing that sticks up and there's springs and shit in it, and the trigger bar presses that and then it resets it. So it's never actually using your sear and striker. I think that's how it looks, or how it works just from looking at it. And then you put like a laser cartridge in it, like a pink Rhino. And so when you get the click, it's probably not a pink Rhino because that's Mantis's brand, I think. It makes the laser, and then it resets the trigger. And it's currently, it fits a Glock mag, but I thought I read that the 48 mag was going to be released before Shot 2. So it's like a 19, 17, 48, and there were other magazines coming. So it'd be cool if there's like a macro mag. Hint, hint, wink, wink, please, please. Because it would be an affordable way for you all to use a pistol in like fish classes and whatnot. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Have I used the Duramag AR-15 mags? I have, and they're okay. They certainly, if Magpul was not a company, would be a contender for the magazines that I would be using. But I don't think rifle mags should be metal. I don't think pistol mags should be plastic. All for reasons. Favorite Troy parts. All right, well, that list is over. Fucker. I can check the 365 macro AX Legion, but I can't, because the strong rumor is that there will not be a single SIG representative anywhere in Las Vegas. Dick, cousin Dick, good to see you. What's interesting is, because I know where you're from, I mean, you know where I'm from. Everybody knows where I'm from. I don't hide it. Not that you hid it. I don't think you hid it. I don't know. Regardless, I had wondered like at different times. Like, I wonder if I ever fucking saw that dude at like the Mill Hall Walmart and just didn't know it. And then when I finally saw your face, I went, yeah, I don't think I don't remember running into him at the Mill Hall Walmart. But anyhow, trying not to say anything that'll trigger Jay Blanco into going off on me in a 20-minute insane tirade. I must have missed all of that, but now I'm interested. Adam Hall, you including AK mags in the no metal rule. I didn't say it was a rule. I said I don't think rifle mags should be metal. And neither do AK fans. All they fucking want is Bakelite. If nobody wants a fucking metal mag. They settle for metal mags. All right, John's going to fill me in. 20-minute insane tirade. I fucking want to hear the tirade. Interesting. I filmed a small tirade, and then I never went any further with it, and I'm going to make a bunch of shorts out of it instead. But I filmed it, and I used the microphone in that camera because my mic that I plug in, my Rode mic, takes 9-volt batteries. I was out of 9-volt batteries, so I just used the built-in Canon microphone. And when I maxed up the gain when I was editing it, I just could not get it loud enough. So I had to set it aside and refilm it with shorts. Adam, I didn't say that there can't be metal in a magazine. I mean, they got springs. Those pretty much got to be metal. Plastic springs suck dick. But the great thing about plastic is its resiliency. And yeah, you can put metal inside of the plastic in the molding to give it extra strength and rigidity. But that makes it thick. And when the plastic gets thick, the whole magazine gets big. But we're fucking dealing with a rifle. It's already big. Like the fat magazine, not a big deal. And on the pistol side, like I want that grip to be small. So that means I need the hole in the bottom of it to be small, which means I need the outside diameter of the magazine to be small. And I'd still like it to hold a lot of bullets, which means the inside of the diameter of the magazine needs to be big, which means the walls have to be thin. That would be stainless steel. So that's where my take on pistol mag should not be plastic. Has nothing to do with the material. It is I'm willing to sacrifice the resiliency of plastic in order to get the grip fucking smaller. Man, Tegris magazines. I've been trying to figure out how to integrate some Tegris into magazines. Man, it would look so good. All right. And what's interesting is there are people around that would maybe disagree with me on the magazines or a bunch of other fucking shit too. Here is the big difference. If you can give me a why for the what that you're going to disagree with me on, great. I might not agree with the emphasis you put on your why versus my why. Like what's important, which why is important to us. To me, it might not be the why that's important to you. But if you can give me a why, I can at least respect the argument. If you won't give me a why, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. But you give me a why, and we're not going to stop being friends because we disagree. Like I don't need to not be friends. The issue, the reason you would irritate me to where I may interact with you less is because you don't have a why, and just somebody told you and you took it on faith, or you invented it yourself and now have, worshipped at the altar of your invention. And then I'm like, I don't need you, not because we disagree on, why muzzle brakes suck and flash hiders are superior, because that's a true statement. It's your dogmatic approach to finding the truth. Now, Dick, here's the thing. Friends don't let friends buy Pro Mag. And I got to use a couple of AK Pro Mags, the AK-74 Pro Mags that were prototypes. I don't know if they ever even actually released the 74 mag, maybe. And those things ran great. And they were plastic. I think they had metal base plates. I was shocked how well they ran. Oh, that's fair, Adam. I was willing to just answer the question, because usually when I'm like, fuck metal mags, people are like, what about AKs? And I'm like, yeah, because that's the only thing you can find. I own metal AK magazines, not because I want them, because that's what I could muster up, what my wallet was willing to afford. I ain't fucking buying Bakelites. I got some P mags down there and some plastic. Are they Circle 10s? Maybe. I don't fucking. Yeah, I think they're Bulgarian. All of them run fine, by the way. Like, I don't own a magazine that doesn't work. I even have AK-47 magazine down there, like one of them waffle mags, and it's gray. Apparently, those are a very limited edition color. And I was going to auction it off, and I forgot. And I completely, until right now, I'm not positive where it's at, but I have a tote with AK mags in it. I think it's the only AK-47 mag that I own. John says, you mean we can hold different positions on something and both be right and friends? Impossible. Yep, I know. Bulletin, hello, sir. Monsieur Mike. Dick, okay. The Pro Mag 74 mags I used, this would have been in like 2020, I believe, and they had not yet been released. And I don't know if it was like a generation thing or a whole new model, and I don't know if they were ever released. I'm not positive, really. Why does Zach Bush need the gray AK mag? If you can tell me a good reason, maybe I will give it to him. Maybe if Zach Bush were here, he could tell me why, and I would give it to him. And those back to them 74 mags, the prototypes were given to a rather high profile person who likes to teach AK stuff. I don't want to speak for him here because I'm not positive what he was allowed to say or not say with part of that testing. So it is very well that they said, hey, we designed a couple magazines and they look like they're going to work real good. And then went, well, they were too expensive to make. What if we cut some corners and then release them and they don't work so good like the prototypes did? That's always a possibility. I don't really know anybody at Pro Mag to say what their demeanor is when it comes to intellectual honesty. Always food for thought, though. And I don't have them. Like if they were here, we could at least compare them to what's current production or old production and see what the difference is, if there are visual differences. Oh, no shit, Adam. Well, somebody should fucking shoot him a signal message right now and let him know that I have one and I'm willing to charge him an exorbitant price for it, so he can be the gray man. CAC rails or DD rails, asking for a friend's Bushmaster build. Ooh. Vic, I'm telling you, I think, like, it depends. It really depends on, I guess, what rails we're talking about. But the Mark 18 rail, the Daniel Defense one, is way fucking cooler than the Knights one. And you can mount an M203 to it. Like the rail comes apart. Anyhow, Knights makes quality stuff, but the Daniel Defense bolt up system with the bolts in the back, man, that looks fucking awesome. Like, that's the best looking rail attachment I've ever seen. Notice I didn't say it was the best rail attachment I've ever seen. I said it was the best looking rail attachment I've ever seen. Like, those 6 bolts look awesome. AK is so reliable that even Pro Mags work on them. Funny story. So I do a shooting and moving workshop in Tennessee. There was like 6, 7, 8 students in it, something like that. Must have been 7, I think. 7 students. 3 AKs and then the rest ARs. Maybe there was 8 people, but there was 3 AKs in it. 2 of the AKs went down hard. And one of them was what I would call lower end, and one is what I would call higher end. The one in the middle is the one that didn't go down. And I was like, wow, we're at a 66 fucking % failure rate on AKs on this 1-day workshop. And the ARs were, for going down hard, 100% reliable. If you were talking about having some malfunctions here or there, one of those had a couple of issues, and mostly it was the operator not just running the charging handle all the time he didn't need to. And then if you don't run the charging handle all the way back sharply and let it go, it's going to cause issues. So Steven mentions a dynamic carbine. There was a dude with an AK and it ran like shit. It was a 5.56 AK, and it's like running a 7.62 AR. Just skip it. So, funny story. Adam says that Tim sprayed the paint, used spray paint on the ammo in the magazine. So, Tim Morris was one of the students running an AK in the class. And because I was at his house with my truck, and he now drives a little car and a motorcycle, he said, hey, you want to run over to my airplane hangar and help me clean some of my shit out of it? Sure. So we drive over there and we throw a bunch of his shit in the back of my truck. And in one of the wooden crates was like half a dozen AK magazines loaded with ammo. Now, I don't know how many years they had set in that airplane hangar, but they had collected some moisture, probably from getting hot and getting cold, hot, cold condensation forming and then rust. So the magazines were pretty rusty. And he was like, I'll just paint the mags and, I'll Rust-Oleum and that'll keep the rust from spreading or whatever. So we get back to his house because I'll shoot all the ammo out of these mags this weekend at class because all those mags were loaded. So he just threw the magazines down on a fucking cardboard box, grabbed a can of fucking spray paint and spray painted the mags. He masked off nothing, So the mags were now like red. They were red, but they were orange before with rust. And there was paint over the top few rounds in every magazine. I've seen, we had some Tapco magazines that we gave out with rental guns, and some of those worked fine, some did not. Tapco triggers, man, those were a recipe for a full auto gun. I don't know if they made them out of aluminum or lead, maybe. It was the softest material in the world, and then all of a sudden, they wouldn't catch anything, and the gun would like pow, 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 until the magazine was empty. Like full auto is fun when you want it to happen. Not so awesome when it just happens whenever you want, for as long as there are bullets in the gun. Oh, fuck, we're at 9 o'clock already. I have 2 questions, and we didn't even get a chance to talk about them yet. So one was asked of me today because over on my alumni Facebook group, it did a monthly reminder. It posted it from me like I posted it, but I didn't. I'm just the admin. It automatically is going to do like once a month, just a reminder that there are some rules in the group. Don't spam the group with like an @everyone or @group tags. What was the other one? You can promote your own business. Don't promote somebody else's inside the group. And no Speedwagon recommendations, which we'll talk about in a minute. So somebody asked, like, hey, what is the policy for getting banned and whatnot? So over on the Tremis Dynamics Facebook page, like the actual business's Facebook page, oftentimes I'll make a post about a product. Like, hey, here is this company's camera lens cap made by, by Canon. And you can talk about it and you can ask questions about it. That's cool. If somebody recommends a competitor's product, like, oh, well, you need to get these Chinesium ones from the Zhaoqing company because they cost less, you will be banned. So if you recommend any product in a product post that isn't the product in question, you're getting banned. Like, we're there to talk about that product, and that's it. You can compare the features of said product to other products, but no coming in and saying, fuck those guys, I don't like Streamlight, so I'm going to talk shit about them, even though the post is reviewing a Streamlight. And I think you should buy O-Lights, because O-Lights are better because blah, blah, blah. And so that's a no-go on the business page. In the alumni group, Speedwagons are named after the band, the awesome band. They're not that awesome. REO Speedwagon. The song, I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend, blah, blah, blah. If you recommend something, you need to talk about your firsthand experience with it, and that's it. Like, I don't care who the fuck your god is of the internet. Oh, this cool internet influencer said this. Nope. Leave the group. And anywhere on the internet, if you're a guy that recommends fucking junk bullshit, I'm just going to go over to my Facebook business page and ban you so that you can't inadvertently come over there and recommend stuff that's fucking known junk. And when people sign up for a class that I don't know, like new people sign up, I have 2 separate lists, one on Facebook and one in a Google document of names of people who I will not let train with me. And I do a simple Control F search for that person's name on the list. Like, Joe Smith signed up for your awesome dynamicness 7. And I'm like, oh, but I banned Joe Smith. I don't know why I banned Joe Smith. I don't keep a list of records of why. I just refund him his money and tell him he can't train with me. So there you go. That's my banned policy for the interwebs. Oh, Adam Hall says, so his muster checklist, HK 416 mags for his AR. Newsflash, they won't work. So you'll pay like $75 a magazine, and they won't function in your gun. So that'd be awesome. Mostly because you're bringing a fucking AK, so like certainly won't work. But if you put it in your AR, they also won't work because they're junk. And a laser for his pistol. Well, you don't forget your rainbow shirt. Adam, I actually did add someone to the list from the bad lever discussion, but not someone super high profile in the discussion. It had with nothing to do about recommending or not recommending a bad lever. They recommended something different that's utter fucking garbage, and I was like, yeah, no, like you're not the guy I want. Like that's an unsafe recommendation. So you can't come to class. He was never gonna anyway. So then the other question I got was last one of the evening, because we're already at our hour and 1 minute mark. Why so pro ambidextrous? I just made all that up with extra syllables. Ambidextrous. Why am I a firm believer that things need to be done ambidextrous? Hey, buddy. Klaus came up to visit. I believe that being anchored to only using one side of your body is a physical, not a physical, it is a mental disability. It is a disability of the mind. So the most of that problem is shooters, people that like to shoot guns, are so afraid of not being good at something right now. Like, I have to be good right now. My manhood requires me to be an expert at this. That anything that they're not good at, instead of getting good at it, they just discard it as not important. And then they will invent excuses that prevent them from doing it that way. So they'll set their gear up so that they can't shoot left-handed because the gear won't let them. And then they'll be like, oh, well, I have all the extra ammo on the left or the right side of my stock, so I can't ever shoot it left-handed because there's shells here. Or I have the sling set so tight at so opposite ends of the gun that I can't get it to the left shoulder even if I swim my arm out of it. So sorry, like, and sling's more important than shooting lefty, or the extra 6 rounds of ammo is more important than shooting lefty. And so they'll invent gear excuses that prevent them from being competent. And I'm not saying you need to be a master if you're right-handed. You don't have to be a master with your left hand, but you have to be competent, proficient with your left hand. So when guys start inventing reasons not to do things left-handed or right-handed, if you're lefty, they are a detriment to your team, and you should discard them because they're not willing to grow. Man, I know shooters, like guys that come to the range and take classes. They've been shooting guns since they were little kids, 8, 10, 12 years old, and they're in their 40s. And I'm like, oh, so what is left for you to do other than learn to do everything left-handed? Sling, mag carriers, optics. I can't. That you'll never need that. That's where they end up. So if they'll end up there, they'll end up in a lot of other places that they're willing to compromise being an asset to you for their own comfort. So you should sweep them right out the door with the rest of the trash. Adam, you'll have to let me know who you're thinking of. And I was hoping Tom Hollyby would show up in this fucking chat somewhere, and he hasn't, because I was going to ask him, because he is the world's, maybe not the world's, but the training community's largest fan of Miyamoto Musashi. And Musashi was historically known to be ambidextrous or to fight ambidextrous. And I, off the top of my head, and I did not have time to research any of this, I did not have time to come up with an answer for what Musashi had written about being ambidextrous or fighting ambidextrous. It is something I'm going to go Google the shit out of. I was just hoping that Tom would be here and he'd be able to tell me, because like he is my Musashi quote expert. Oh, you know what? I did have time to do, which I only had time to do one thing. So in that bad liver discussion, I'm glad you brought it up, Adam. The guys that were like, I will just go find a big rock and lay down behind it to fix my malfunction while the rest of my fire team maneuvers on the enemy, fire and maneuver. During the firing, I had a malfunction, so I will not maneuver during the maneuvering portion. I will just let my team go without me so I can hide here and fix my malfunction, because I don't want to be able to do it while my feet are moving. I found a video of a guy that did just that. So I'm willing to show it to you right here. Where was it? Oh, dude fixing his type 3 malfunction while his team is off fighting. That's the fella clearing the type 3 while the rest of his team goes and does fucking the Lord's work. You heard it here first. All right. I did have time to find that. Y'all are welcome. Oh, Andrew, I'm going to quote you on that. I'm copying it right now. I'm gonna put that on the Facebook, Instagram stories. I'm gonna wait till I fucking hang up from the live chat, but you'll see it in moments. I'll probably spell your name wrong when I quote you. All right. So with that was all I had to talk about. Adam, reach out and let me know who you're talking about. And I don't know. I'm not an admin in that forum, so I can't tell you for sure. I know that comments had got squashed on it, but people could still do react, like the thumbs up or the anger face or whatever, even when comments are disabled. So that's a bullshit Facebook thing. Like if something's like nixed, it needs to be nixed, not reacts still allowed with no, retorts to the reactions. So like, I didn't realize that was a Facebook glitch until that post. All right, I got to copy and paste the fucking. I had to open like a Google Keep or take a note. Control V, and then as quoted by Andrew. Oh, I gotta spell Andrew right too. Fuck. I think I never typed before. Schmersher shack. Perfect. All right, I'll put that up there. Oh, Dick, absolutely. Proficient with the left eye. Uh-huh. A lot of times when people want to shoot a rifle left-handed, they must find it's required. Oh, no. Andrew, I am totally doing the first one, the Schmerses check. And you all can expect in the upcoming days a number of shorts, all referring back to things like bad levers and ambidexterity. Bad lever is just a symptom of the larger ailment of being afraid of being ambidextrous. Which, man, if you want to go into the shoot house, I hope you're afraid of being ambidextrous. Like, that's awesome. The problem is, if we're already talking, I'd like to think that maybe in the shoot house, we might be teammates. However, I'd like my teammates to be assets, not assholes. Yeah, I just came up with that. You can quote me. All right. With that, I'm rolling on out of here. We're an hour and something into this. Head on over to the other socials. Facebook is a great one, but if you use any of the other ones, Twitter, Getter, Mew, fucking, what is that? Truthwin. Like, I'm on a bunch of them. Like, you can even use LinkedIn. Things to look for SHOT Show for you. Give me a list and I'll go hit them all up. Shorts. Yes, shorts. I will do the shorts so you can see the calves. You do have an eye for good taste in calves anyway. All right, so I'm out of here. I'll see you all here in a week, and then we'll figure out what we're doing for SHOT. Toodaloo.